Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GBYWN Australia podcast. I am your host, as usual, Aston Crude. And here today, I have a very, very special guest for you all. This man is a former two-time ICWS Hardcore Champion, former ICWS Tag Team Champion, the current reigning and defending ICWS Heavyweight Champion, the first guy in the ICWS to be a Grand Slam Champion. Also, former GBYWN World Hardcore Champion. I am talking to a man that has defined hardcore wrestling and backyard wrestling here in Western Australia for the past 6 years. I'm talking to Killawatt Kaos.
How are we?
How's it going, mate?
Great, man. I'm very excited to do this.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here, bro. It's been a long time coming.
It is.
I certainly do enjoy interviewing the ones from, you know, the old era more because there's more to talk about.
Yes,
and there is a lot to talk about with you.
Yes.
And the first question I have for you today is, how did you get into wrestling?
I got into wrestling as a little chubby Serbian kid. Granddad loved wrestling. Basically, as soon as I can remember, I've watched wrestling.
Yep.
Loving Kane and Undertaker. Stone Cold, of course, growing up in the Attitude Era. I just fell in love with it. These modern day superheroes.
Yep.
You see real in the flesh. I don't know what there isn't to love about wrestling. So
Yep. So you'd say, like, from the get-go, you were like into Undertaker, Kane, the big dudes.
Just big mastodons of men smashing into each other, and you know, guys like Stone Cold, they're just so badass.
Yeah.
Like, Kaos is what, you know, Stone Cold would be if he was schizophrenic and had multiple, you know, probably had a fucking really bad drug addiction and messed himself up. That's everything but alcoholism. Yeah.
So you totally identified with these characters,
yeah,
and your love for wrestling just grew from there.
Yeah, that's it.
Excellent, man. It's always the same old story with everyone, you know.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first actual time you saw it on your TV?
Not really. It's all a bit of a blur, but I can remember one of my first pay-per-views was because I was a Stone Cold fan. And one of the pay-per-views, I don't know if it was like Rebellion or something like that, but Kurt Angle made Stone Cold tap.
Oh.
And I was like, what's going on here? You know, I had my family around as well. Literally, like, you know, I'm going to watch wrestling in front of you guys because this is what I love. And yeah, we would have been around then. Of course, Kane still had his mask on. Yeah, still Attitude Era.
The good shit, bro. The good shit.
Mate's house, really.
Yep. Excellent. All right. Well, the next question, you know, we're leading towards how you get involved in backyard wrestling, but I've already had one side of this story, and I'd like to know your side of this story. How did you meet your longtime brother in backyard wrestling, Dark Ice?
When I met Dark Ice, it was in high school.
Yeah.
Someone's pointed out that this big mammoth of a man, Dark Ice was an extremely handsome bloke back then as well. You know, he already had half a fucking beard.
Yeah.
He's into wrestling as well, so why don't you know, go chat to him? And so I walked up and, oh yeah, so you're into wrestling? Yeah, man, yeah, what's your favourite? Oh, you know, Shawn Michaels, yeah, DX. No, he wasn't some fresh fan.
Yeah,
I was just going.
He knew his shit.
Yeah, he knew everything. And then he followed up by, "Do you like divas?" Well, I am straight. Yes. Well, you know, I've got quite the collection of clippings from what I've printed out of nude divas. He basically had a collection. What's your favourite diva? And at that moment it was Ashley Massaro.
Oh, dude.
Getting a half chub just thinking about the pictures he gave me. And yeah, he just gave me his whole collection of Ashley Massaro. And from then on, we were destined. We were destined to fuck shit up and screw chicks and get drunk. And that's how the brotherhood started.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ashley Massaro, hell of a worker. Hell of a worker.
She can work me any day.
Okay, so once again, I have heard ICE's version of events, but I still would like to see how you remember it. How did you hear about ICWS first?
Heard ICWS first from Luke. He ended up saying that Dan Zeppelin, kid back in high school, had his own backyard fed, and they've got YouTube videos. One day we went over to watch TNA or some WWE main event.
Yeah.
And he put on YouTube, and the first one I think may have been, it was a match between Dan Zeppelin and Bundaberg, and there was thumbtacks, and I was like, well, we haven't done thumbtacks before. I was a bit envious, because I was like, well, you know, SPWS doesn't have a great deal of a roster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of envious and a bit skeptical of what they could do. But one thing was that I wanted to get in there, and I wanted SPWS to be there and make an impact. Oh yeah.
So how would you consider what SPWS was at that point before you'd even stepped foot into the Z Arena? Was it just like you and ICE just fighting each other every now and then?
Just smashing the crap out of each other and
just
filming
no
it.
Referee?
You know, yeah, no referee, setting our mattress on fire and goring each other, or choke slamming each other onto it.
Yeah.
You know, singeing hairs, stealing the trolley from the Ellenbrook shops and smashing each other with it. Going Verge pickups.
So even before you had the shows Hardcore Beginning and Crash Course, you guys just had matches here and there.
Yeah, just whatever we could. If we could get a mattress out or put 3 mink blankets, that was soft enough for us back then. Also the pool. We had a pool at one time where I was living. Alex Stone was wrestling as well. A few other mates had a trampoline, and one of the best stories of that is memorable only to me and Alex Stone, but me and Alex wrestling and set up a spot where I choke slam him. He turns it into an RKO. Crisp hits the RKO. The fucking trampoline snaps under me. I'm 120 kilos by then. And Alex, who was all of 90 pounds.
Yeah.
And trampoline breaks on one side and we roll into the pool. And we wish we filmed it. You just could not recreate that for a second. We didn't know it was going to break. Nothing.
Sounds like something from Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, yeah.
What could have been? You might have won that prize. Whatever it was, I don't know. It was like $1,000 or something. Yeah. All right, so okay, you and I smuck around here and there. So how would you consider how was SPWS formed? As far as having an actual couple of shows there that you had. Just obviously you guys wrestling each other, then you decided let's put on an event and invite some of the ICWS boys over.
Yeah, basically it was can we do an event? Can we are we able to? His parents were a bit more strict than mine. His house was nicer as well. We're at the back of my grandparents' house at that point. So we had all the room and just made sure that my granddad was napping, so he didn't, because he still thinks wrestling is real.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, if Ice was smashing me over the chair, I don't think my granddad would take too lightly for that.
No.
But basically, we just went out on a limb and thought if we can do a show, let's do it. And we conversed with Dan Zeppelin and the boys, and that's how the first SPWS main event.
Yeah. So, any fond memories of those two shows that you had?
A lot. I probably remember more of those matches than most of the matches that are more recent. What sticks out of my mind is the wheelbarrow. We used the wheelbarrow. Doing double duty because there was only us two on the roster.
Oh yeah.
And the cheese grater spot. I don't even think anyone saw a cheese grater because it's all of about an inch long. And going to the park. We're the two biggest guys as well, as far as people that rocked up as well.
And I find it incredible that Wicked Nick James, of all people, was in the main event fighting you for the title.
Yes, Paul
of all people, the guy that doesn't like hardcore wrestling.
Poor Wicked Nick has not wanted to wrestle me ever since.
Well, at this point, it seems like he doesn't want to wrestle anyone. But, you know...
But if he does ever want to wrestle me, if he throws out the challenge, I'm happy.
The rematch is there, man. And, you know, he's the ICWS champ. Maybe you can reclaim that gold. Wicked Nick. Hall of Famer.
Wink, wink.
So, why were there only 2 shows? Was it just because you moved house?
Basically, it was just... We didn't really think why there was much of a point to start SPWS and doing more shows, because we had like 2 mattresses. That was the base. 2 like camping mattresses. And if we're going to ICWS, that may as well be our main fed. Also, that keep SPWS a bit mysterious. That's basically it.
Cool. So, you know, I know there's only 2 shows, but what does SPWS mean to you?
SPWS means, the best thing about SPWS and what it means to me is brotherhood. Me and Ice started it up. Me and Ice still are SPWS. Wherever we go, it's yelled out by, you know, the boys, SPWS is here.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, friendship, hardcore wrestling, and basically SPWS as a whole is probably the most weirdest guys. The group, because now, you know, Dan Zeppelin was a member of SPWS. And yeah, you know, we're the weird guys, and 2 of us are some of the biggest guys, and all 3 of us are probably like the most hardcore up until coming up now. So you've got new blood.
What's the likelihood that one day there'll be one more SPWS show? I mean, I would be thrilled.
Yeah, well, not to get anyone's hopes up, but it's very likely. I've actually been in the works of trying to organise something. Of course, I'm looking for a new place soon, so I'm looking for a bigger backyard. And
I'm thinking like a tournament of hate, kind of.
Very much so. That would be the first thing, would be, you know, an inaugural tournament, so you can start that every year maybe, as the benchmark of when SPWS reunited. Yeah. And it'd be all our fed, so you know, it'd be very grungy and heavy metal and a lot more, you know, different. It'd be like hell to WZWA being like heaven, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to go there. We've got rusty nails and fire. Because there will be fire.
Yeah.
It's my house. There will be fire.
Excellent. Alright. Joining ICWS full time, how were you received by the boys?
With fear. At first, most of it was fear. Apart from Dan Zeppelin, one guy that, surprisingly enough, I never heard a peep from, and you would not guess this, is Daniel Johnston. He never really talked. Nick was a bit cool because he knew I was into metal, but everyone else was very skeptical of also what we could do, because we're 2, you know, fat kids, and we're the oldest ones. We basically throw people around. I know there was a lot of talk like, how do you wrestle SPWS? And the big thing was, you just hit them. Don't hold back. You can just crack them in the jaw, which is one thing I love.
It's one thing that I had to do.
Yes. Oh, evidently.
And we will get to that at some point.
Yes.
I thought, you know, guys like JD Flame, Delcano would be a bit intimidated to wrestle guys such, you know, a lot bigger and also, you know, a lot more physical. Very
much so. And with them boys, that they had that kind of sort of respect where we were the locker room leaders all of a sudden because we're older and bigger. Also, we got JD Flame, Mike Delcano's respect, and Clint, because we bought him alcohol.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's a lot of times when Ice would get a call, could you buy us some booze? We're underage.
Brilliant.
You know, so we were the guys at one point as well.
Excellent. ICWS Warpath, 2010, I think. You make your debut. You're forced to face one another. So how was it in the Z Arena for your debut?
It was different. Me and Ice almost always click, and most of our matches are hardly planned out or choreographed. We love improvising because we know each other so well.
Yeah.
And it was just new. We had a lot more room to jump around and set up spots, tables, and weapon shots, and it was just a lot more freedom. I loved our first match. I thought it actually went quite well, and that we weren't afraid to beat the crap out of each other to show how good we are.
I think it's like a great idea to introduce you guys, put them against one another, see what they can do. And I don't think I've seen the full match. I've just seen the recap, but you know, hopefully one day I can get all the footage from Chris Epwin, because I'd love to watch some of those early matches in full.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah. Twisted Metal 4 rolls around. There's a rematch, this time for the SPWS Championship. I don't know if the first one was for the title or not, I can't remember. Despite how long SPWS went for, how much did that championship mean to you?
Again, that championship was part of something I created with my best friend.
And you're happy to bring that along to ICWS to keep its lineage going, I suppose.
I was happy to do that. It was almost like the WCW World Heavyweight title coming back, into WWF.
Yeah.
Which very much, as I recreated it, it looked just like, he used the World Heavyweight template to make the SPWS title.
Yeah.
So, it definitely, after SPWS folded, I'd say the whole Fed is in that belt.
Yeah.
Whoever holds that kind of holds the essence of SPWS. Or they've got to. And if they don't, then we're going to have to take it back from them.
Yep. So obviously the rematch was awesome. You enter a feud with Dan Zeppelin and ICWS, which is pretty much interrupted by the XCW-ICWS feud. I know we spoke about this yesterday briefly, but I'd like to get it on record. Did it bother you at all that the focus was taken off you both and put onto these guys that you never even heard of before?
Fuck yeah, greatly. Fuck yeah, fucking no. Was livid. I was like, why? Alright, yeah, I get it. There's an older guy that's a bit more fitter and more physical, and he's got a background, and his mates and XCW never even watched what is XCW? Is this new? Because these guys are old. This guy's taller than me. This is shit. Well, at least let me. I bet they're gonna let me wrestle in first few events. No, it took me a while till I got my hands on you. So.
But I'm sure once you saw me wrestling in the Motley Crue shirt, you were like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I dug it because I did walk up and I was like, Theatre of Pain, And you're like, yeah, man. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
you two are like guys that I immediately gravitated towards because you knew who Motley Crue were, and that was it. It's like, these guys are going to be my mates.
Yeah, exactly. And but also, there was a lot of pressure taken off with XCW coming, that we didn't have to always perform at the highest caliber and be the main event constantly.
Kind of just ease your way into things, do a couple of things in the mid card, then when it went away, you could then take the spot.
That's it. And Ice being the first one to kind of main event with Dan Zeppelin and Seasons Beatings, and then me to have a few matches with Dan.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Dan against the both of us all the time. It was Dan.
But I did like that the thread still continues slightly during the XCW thing.
Yes.
Like there was Affliction. There was Dan went back to wrestling Ice on that show with the infamous Joker Driver.
Yep.
Whilst I was wrestling Johnny V on the show for the title. So it was cool that we could still keep the feud with you guys and ICWS going whilst we're doing our thing too. So it's insane. Yep. And I would have loved to have had XCW versus ICWS versus SPWS, but it was too hard to figure out. And Chris just wanted to stick to just XCW versus ICWS at the time.
We definitely still coexisted quite well.
Yeah. At Animosity, you entered into a tournament for the vacated ICWS Hardcore Championship, which was previously owned by Big Mac.
Yeah.
And you ended up in the finals with Mike Delcano and JD Flame. Delcano ended up with the belt. How did that make you feel?
Like shit.
Did you feel that you should have won the belt, or
I kind of did, but then, of course, I don't always like to be a glory hog. I was kind of glad that Delcano did win it as well, just because I also didn't think I was too ready for all the promos. There's even a promo after Animosity that I wasn't fond of. It was absolutely crap, which just solidified in my head that I wasn't ready to be a champion. And my character wasn't fully out there as far as the charisma or just being the showmanship, really.
Yeah.
But one thing is that if he was going to win it, he was going to get a hell of a beating, and JD Flame too. And yeah, if
I remember that Doomsday Device.
Yeah. And every time I see JD Flame, I still apologise for it and ask him how his neck is. If I can get him some ice water, I'm always nice and kind. And this is coming from a guy that used to get up in his face and try and intimidate him.
As long as the ice water's kosher, then it should be all right.
Yeah, it's...
all right. So, what do you feel that you and Ice did for the ICWS as it pertains to hardcore wrestling when you got there?
I'd say that me and Ice, not to toot our own horns or toot Ice's horn as sexually as it sounds, but we kind of pinpointed exactly how hardcore should be.
Yeah.
We kind of put it like we kind of shone the light out and put the spotlight on. Yeah, this is how we can do hardcore. We can be the guys that can carry hardcore matches and introduce people to hardcore matches, because me and him can beat the crap out of each other, me and Ice. But if it was like JD Flame and Delcano or Clint Marshall, well, Dan Zeppelin's already a bit of a veteran in the hardcore. That we can carry them and make sure that they don't fully just jump into the deep end and get thrashed.
Yeah.
That we can do it slowly for them. We're kind of like the doctors of hardcore.
Very nice. There were two guys that came through XCW that reminded me of you and Ice in your death matches that you would have. A guy called Acid Rain and a guy called James O'Mac, who's known as Ace Silver in XCW. They wrestled for NAW, which was the fed that Shane Haste and Carl Stereo wrestled in, Balga. But they had this match in 2002, crazy hardcore. We'd never seen anything like it, but they didn't really last too much longer in XCW, unfortunately. But you always reminded me of them. I'm still in touch with James O'Mac, and I'm hoping that I can maybe bring him into WCWA this year. Love to see you and him go at it at some point, if we can make that happen.
I love fresh meat. So.
And I think you two will just click. Just as far as hardcore goes, he's insane. But anyway, away from that, I just had the thought come in my head, so I thought I'd let you know about him.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so was there a point where you thought that you couldn't get by on just hardcore wrestling to become a bigger deal in ICWS?
Yeah, I felt that I was just put in that one genre of wrestling. I felt like I was just...
You were pigeonholed into...
Yeah, just under the category of, if we need a hardcore match, throw Kaos in it.
Yeah. It was almost weird to see you be put into a regular singles match.
Yeah, and I almost got ring rust because I didn't know what to do without a weapon.
Yeah.
And I think the first few singles matches I had were because I was supposed to be in a hardcore match, so I was planning for hardcore. Hardcore is easier, I think, for anyone. Really.
Yeah.
It's a lot more. It's a lot less complicated than a actual singles match or a technical wrestling match, because you're just throwing chairs around and putting people through a table. That's the pop. You're not actually using your body physically to do an F5 or a Joker driver.
Yeah.
And make it look specky, because a chair to the face always looks brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like a stamp.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Next, Halloween Hell 2010.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the show when the ICWS versus XCW series took place and SPWS had another death match on the card to compete with these other federations? Did you see this as an opportunity to try and steal the show, considering what there was to contend with?
Yeah, most definitely. The whole hype of that event was the ICWS boys, the originals versus XCW originals. SPWS is left in the shadows because we're neither. But you've put us two together, which is even better than just putting us against any old people. If you put us together, that's shining the light on SPWS.
Yeah.
As a whole, right there, without us separating. I'm pretty sure that was it was a good match. I think me and Ice actually almost like destroyed our spines in that match. We definitely try to top ourselves and try to top you guys and basically everyone else in the Fed. And I definitely had that. We've got to make sure that we stand out as well.
Yeah, I consider that show to be one of the top three most important shows that there ever was in Western Australian backyard wrestling.
Well, still got the DVD. So.
It's such a great show. You had Mykonos's debut. You had just flavour from every aspect of wrestling on the show.
Clint versus Diffuser was man, that was one of the matches where I was like, this is how we're going to top that. How's that to be beaten? Like.
It's so typical of Diffuser to be able to pull that one out of the fucking hat. Alright, well, from there, XCW departs the ICWS, and now it's back to where we were before I joined the Federation. So Aussie Anarchy SPWS caused havoc by defeating JD Flame and Declan Diamond in your first official tag match. I actually have skipped seasons beatings here, but I guess that's more of a Dark Ice question, to be honest. But you cause havoc by defeating them in a tag team match, your first official tag match, and then you put Dan Zeppelin through a table. The post-Taser XCW, and with others going pro shortly after, did you see this as an opportunity to step up and become a bigger part of ICWS?
Oh, definitely. It's almost like, we didn't want to be forgotten, because we were tucked under a bit, but we were still a wrecking machine together. We're still absolutely brutal and hardcore. Apart from Taser, we were the biggest heels. Definitely it was back to us tearing up ICWS as the way it should have been in the beginning.
What was it like feuding with Dan Zeppelin with your ensuing matches at Roadhouse and the last man standing match at Bloodline? And how do you feel 2011 Dan Zeppelin compares to 2015 Dan Zeppelin?
2011 Dan Zeppelin is definitely a lot more... he's younger. He hasn't been through all the too much hardcore, too many matches yet. His body's still quite fresh. Our matches were brilliant. It was good to hang with someone a bit lighter, a bit more sprightly, a bit more physical. I love wrestling Dan Zeppelin because he's the combination of he's not afraid to hit you. Yeah. He knows how you work. He knows your moveset, and he's not afraid to get his ass kicked. Where 2015 Dan Zeppelin's still the same, but he's almost like a cantankerous old man. He still has epic matches. But he's a bit more no, not too much. I don't want to do too much. Which is fine. When
you get to that
done
point,
enough,
when you've done enough, you've done enough.
Guys like you and Dan have done enough.
And the fact that he's actually continuing for this last year in WCWA, I thought he would be done. I thought he'd be done at the end of last year, but I think there's 1 year left. He's probably just going to stick around just at the end of that.
Which I'm still ecstatic about.
Yeah,
I love Dan.
And I was always worried that he'd be gone pretty soon because I always thought that we could do a bit more with him just for his legacy.
Well, there was a running joke that I had with him in ICWS, and I'm still kind of now calling him my little brother Danzig, He also reminds me of Glenn Danzig. Just tiny, long hair.
Yeah. At Ode to Glory, you face newcomer Clint Marshall for the second time and lose to him again. Did it bother you seeing guys come in after you and get a stronger push?
It did, only because I felt like I was more, I was physically more better than them. I was still fat, but I was definitely stronger. My presence about me, I felt, was a bit better.
Yeah.
You know, the dark thing aside, but I was definitely brutal. One thing though, Clint is a good wrestler and he was great. And his match with Diffuser at Oceanic, and that's what it was like. You know, I don't actually mind losing to him. It is a very David versus Goliath kind of battle, and I was happy that he was the David. So
fair enough. So interesting to see how you felt about that, because I always thought, when Clint Marshall he came in and then he just went past Elcano, went past Justin, went past you guys, and I just wondered if anyone out of yous really, at least had a slight issue with it. Although I'm sure
or just a bit.
I mean, not too much. Like it's
not with him personally.
No, of course not.
But definitely like, well, if we don't get the title, we definitely got to be like beating this guy up or having a feud with him for the title. So.
How do you feel during this time you are as it pertains to dealing with Chris Zeppelin and DJ with the booking and all that? Were you putting forth ideas that were getting knocked back, or?
Not really. I was a bit like go with the flow. They already kind of knew where I was going, what I was doing. I wasn't too bothered by storylines. But most of ICWS was me rocking up hungover and wrestling, and all I really cared about was getting drunk and having sex. So and wrestling, like. So I wasn't too bothered as long as my character wasn't made fun of or I wasn't embarrassed. Which I when I look back, I'm embarrassed by the way like my hair was. Like I had really bad hair. And, I can't believe like the day I cut my hair and became Kaos with short hair was one day I was like, this is so much better than walking out to a hardcore match with basically a fucking perm. Like, like a hardcore Zach Galifianakis. So,
Gotcha.
A true hangover.
Yeah. At Twisted Metal 5, we get yourself in ice for the fourth time in ICWS in a death match. Well, this was an I Quit match, I believe. Was it hard trying to top each performance? And this is now the fourth time in about just over a year where you guys have got to go out there and do hardcore again. Was it hard to top it?
Yeah. And it still is.
Just gonna get a beer kick talking.
It still is hard to top every match that Dark Ice and Chaos have. Basically, with the I Quit match, you had it was a lot more different. We didn't really plan much in that match either. I don't even think we planned the ending till midway, where it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter who won in that match. It could have gone either way. It was up to us, and there was no winner till almost the end, halfway through.
Oh, really?
And Ice, being the saint that he is, and he's always happy to have me win.
I know that.
Halfway through, he's just like, I'll take the fall. I'll say I quit. And the way he did it was also a bit different for SPWS to go out there and be like animals and fight to the death. It was a rite of passage. Yeah. Like, look, man, you basically him saying, I don't see me being the best out of us two. You're the one with the highest caliber to go in and take back SPWS and ICWS and, to regain our glory.
Yep.
Which was really good.
Cool, man. Alright, where are we? Okay. This is something that I can't remember if I actually asked Ice about this in his podcast. I believe there was a SPWS Hardcore Championship at one point.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come into being, and what happened to it? Because it wasn't a part of any of your Crash Course or Hardcore Beginning shows, was it?
No, I don't believe so. No. I originally built it because Ice had the SPWS title. There's only 2 of us in our roster, so if I make another title, it can only go to one other person. You know, so but I told in ICWS I'm happy to defend this, and if, you know, I'll book for my title, and we'll come to agreements, because I don't want them to be like, you know, you're losing your title.
You can't win the hardcore title, so you create your own one. And
exactly.
Then give Chris Epplin the burden. Look, I'm bringing this title in, so you're going to have to use it now.
Yeah. And
2 hardcore titles.
And I feel it was actually one of the most awesomest hardcore titles.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, there was like, wasn't there like a bike chain? Like,
yeah, there was a bike
dangling
chain
off it and shit.
Chicken wire and...
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted for the world hardcore title, but I couldn't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't.
Oh man,
no, I don't. It's literally lost in the sands of time at the moment.
Gotcha.
And there will be an archaeologist that'll somehow dig it up in the near future.
It'll be in a museum one day.
And and bring back the curse of Kaos. You know.
All right, cool. I'm glad to learn a little bit more about the SPWS Hardcore Championship, because I remember it just suddenly being there and never really being explained where it came from, and I thought, oh, they must have had another show or something, and I didn't know about it.
It was also a personal weapon.
Yeah.
You know, it was basically almost like my tonfa.
That's where I got the idea to make the World Hardcore title itself a weapon.
Yeah.
Like thumbtacks stuck to it and barbed wire and all that. I thought that's where I got the idea from.
For show, we did have like long, rusty nails put through it. Yeah. But if I ever hit someone, the nails were actually taken out before the match.
Oh, really?
But for show, if you ever saw the title, there's nails like dangling out.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
Yeah, that was a cool title belt, man. After the show after Twisted Metal 5, you faced Clint Marshall and Dan Zeppelin in a tremendous 3-way match with 2 falls for both titles that Clint Marshall now had. You became the first person to get a victory over Clint Marshall in what was a tremendous match to become the ICWS Hardcore Champion after over a year of chasing it. How gratifying was it to finally reach that milestone, considering for the past year yourself and Ice had literally embodied what hardcore was in WA yarding? That is a fucking great question.
Yes, yeah, it is. Oh, fuck, man. It was gratifying. It was satisfying. I soaked up the moment, especially to finally, like, pin Clint. Like, you know, this is how, in my mind, I was like, this is how it fucking should have been.
Yeah.
You know, I was so happy, and with everything, because Ice is like my partner, he's like my wrestling wife. I looked over at him and saw the smile and was kind of like, yeah, man. Now we're getting in our groove.
We're getting there. We're almost there. We've almost taken over.
You know, that was it. And especially, I was like, yeah, this is my reward for the hardcore title. I believe it was Clint that had both titles. So it was definitely gratifying also taking the title off him.
And that was a great 3-way.
It was. That one. It was one of my favourite matches.
You know, there's been so many matches that have taken place over the last 6 or 7 years. You know, to have ones that you do remember and you remember it was a good match, it's pretty hard to come by, because it's all a blur for me anyway.
That's it.
At Cold Day in Hell, you took on Alex Stone in his debut match to retain your title. How far back did your friendship with Alex go, and what did it mean to you to have his first match?
Well, first off, me and Alex have been mates since high school. Can't truly remember how we met, but well, actually, I mistook him for a Canadian. And you know, he's like he just embodies all of Great Britain. He's got all of Great Britain in him. And yeah, he was a wrestling fan as well. So we just clicked. It's kind of like me and Ice as well. Then there was talk, so you know, Alex Stone come to ICWS. Most of the guys were from Hampton, So they already knew who Alex was.
The cool kid, probably.
Yeah, the cool guy that was in a band that played at the assemblies. Like, you know, chicks loved Alex.
All the chicks wanted to suck that dick.
He's not called the rock star Alex Stone for nothing.
Can you,
you know?
can you just imagine the amount of tang?
And another running joke was Alex was the rock star, I was his bodyguard.
No.
He was Shawn Michaels, I was Diesel. That's how it always was. And I used to walk behind him and like I'd hope someone pick on Alex so I could. He was like my best friend, you know. I just wanted to sock someone and be like, I did this for you, like, you know. And then I told him about ICWS and he's like, oh, you know, man, I think that's kind of cool. Like, I'd love to do it. And I was like, look, Alex, man, do it. I'll talk to the guys. I'm sure of it.
What took him so long to get there?
Well, he was always focused with his music. And I think he was just a bit hesitant on like how it all go. I think me and Ice were the ones that proved, like, you know, we're not actually out there getting tremendously hurt or being stupid, and that we're actually having fun. Like, we haven't given it up or walked away from ICWS. We're actually like sticking with it and we love it. And I think just by curiosity is like, I'm going to try it out. And then I was like, yeah, well, if you want, why don't you verse me so you're comfortable in your debut match? Yeah. And basically, that's how it all went. And we had an epic match. He was great, and I told him, like I tell everybody else, just kick my ass. You know how it goes. And which was definitely a big change from the pool, because we almost used to drown each other. Like, what do you expect if you're locking someone in a figure four underwater? Like, and they won't tap, but they'd rather drown. You know?
What a dumb idea.
Yeah, like, you know,
figure four underwater.
You know, and we're sinking together.
No, Alex, as soon as I saw him, I was like, this guy's got it. And I saw a lot of him and me and him. But what took me 8 years to get good at, he was good at immediately, so I kind of hated him as well.
Yeah.
You missed Halloween Hell 2011. Why was that? And how did you feel when you found out you were stripped of the title, but then Ice won it back off Three Dog and you guys were now co-champions?
I missed Halloween Hell 2011 because I went on a holiday. I went for a little vacation up in Ledge Point in Lanceland. Moore River. And one of the guys whose house was staying out took out his Jeep, you know, one of the Wranglers with the no top on it, and basically I was trashed standing on the back and speeding up a long abandoned road and fell right off and landed on my back.
I didn't know. I didn't know you hurt yourself.
Yeah, I was really fucked up for about like a couple of weeks. My back was stiff and I was like, and I actually did it the morning, like at 2 a.m. And I was supposed to drive back down for the event, and I just said, I can't do
so
it.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. I learned something new. So how did you feel about you and Ice now being co-champions? That's pretty fucking sick.
It was also that something that I did win for the glory of SPWS was now being shared between us two. We're sharing the meal, and definitely sharing the reward. It also added so much content and just product to SPWS in ICWS that, you know, we're kind of getting away with this. But I can't lose it if I just get pinned. He can't lose it if he just gets pinned, because it's our title. Yeah. You have to beat both of us. Yeah. And like, good luck with that, you little faggot. Like, you know, like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And you know, you can't. You know, that's just perfect. You know, so maybe it was destiny that you fell off the back of that Jeep Wrangler.
No, definitely.
You worked a bit with JD Flame by this point, defending the title against him at Seasons Beatings 2011. What was it like wrestling Justin, and what was your opinion of him as a person at the time?
Justin was always a hilarious person. I don't know if it's with all Jews, if they're always funny, if that's just a comedy thing in their genes. But yeah, all them boys were hilarious. JD, I thought, was the funniest of them all, because we also definitely clicked a lot more. I always find him a bit more intellectual than the others, so I can always converse with him on
I just think the guy was so intelligent he couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So he was so hyperactive. He had so much going on in his head.
Yeah.
That's probably why he had a bit of heat with a lot of the guys, because he was a little bit, brash and, rude sometimes, and very in your face, shut your face. He was very much that way. But it's good to find out that there was at least someone that didn't dislike him.
Well, no, definitely, and I don't think I could be one to be like always brash and in your face, because I was one of the guys that was running around with a kendo stick, and if you had your back turned in a conversation, would smack you so hard for the laughs of everybody else. It wasn't until after a while I was like, actually, this is hurting people. And
yeah, I was happy that I'd always seemed to get a free pass.
Yeah, definitely.
On your antics picking on people in the backyard.
Yeah, it was definitely like the hyenas crossing the lion.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll ravage anyone else, but we kind of got this respect. All right, you're the king of the jungle. We get you.
Yeah.
But wrestling, JD, was really fun. He's definitely his physicality is there. He's what's the word? He's exciting. He's got charisma to him, and he's definitely a little ball of energy when you wrestle him. And he was happy to keep wrestling me and wrestle on the level that I can.
Yeah.
Even after the Doomsday device and
and all that hectic shit.
Yeah,
You defended your title successfully over Alex, Mykonos, and 3Dog in early 2012. Then finally at Twisted Metal 6, you defeated Aston Crude in a hardcore title defense. What was it like wrestling me for the first time? And was it cool to know that you were actually the first person in ICWS to, get a clean pinfall victory over me?
Alright, I get it. You got the clean pinfall.
After you and I both choke slam me.
Yeah. It was fun. It was something I was waiting to do for ages. So that match was definitely, for me, the most anticipated match ever. Of course, if we look back at the match, it was very physical. It was.
I had to bring my A game, man, because I wanted to show you, both you guys, that I could hang with you in that environment and really bring the physicality to you.
And that was us right back. I have to wrestle who I see as a veteran of backyard wrestling. Basically, the Undertaker of the business. The Stone Cold. The A-lister. I was smitten with you, and then when it came to the actual match, there was the powerbomb off the ladder, or picking me up off the ladder and then off the base.
Just too confident, think, yeah, I can do this. I can take 3 steps and then put him through the table.
And there was one thing where I was like, no, man, I don't think you could. I'm heavy, I was like, I don't think I could do that. I think this will hurt me, But I was like, I can't say no.
That was. Yeah.
I have to try this. I can't say no to Aston.
That was me just being overconfident with my ability.
We'll never really know. All we know is that I was fine. I loved it. I loved the way it actually went, because now everyone's like, you can't really kill this guy, as you yelled out before. Why won't you die? And,
I love that the table had a perfect shape of your head.
Yes, and that's it.
It's just like the shape of a perm.
And yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you and I have never had a bad match.
Yeah,
We've wrestled 3 times, 3 tremendous matches, and I don't know what it is. We just have awesome chemistry. So from there, where are we? The SPWS feud with Crude has begun. You two are the first to ever lay me out in a pool of my own blood. Not really, it's fake blood.
Yeah.
But how do you feel the rest of the feud went?
Awesome. When one of the biggest things that stands out of my days in ICWS is your return. Coming out to Vengeance Is Mine, which was just such a sick song. Because we're both in the same music, so it's just really quick.
Came up with the zipped up leather jacket with a little beanie on, and I had the face paint down from there. this is what SPWS has done to Aston Crude. They've changed him.
It was almost like
and I wouldn't say a word.
Adapting to change to beat us, you know. Like I was coming out with face paint, and we had the old goth gear and the stuff you'd get from Name. And then, you know the trips or whatever, and then you come out and you're like, you know what? I can be vicious as well. I can be brutal. I can be dark. You take me to that place, and you know.
Yeah, you guys were the first people that ever took me to that place as a character. And I got the idea actually from Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah.
He only does it very rarely, but if he's in a feud where it's something really personal to him and something bad has happened to him, he will be called Super Liger. He'll change. His whole look is completely different. His mask is different, and that's where I got the idea from because I love him, and so that's what I was trying to get across. But I also wanted to be a silent character, so like, you know, I'd hand a note to the referee to read out afterward to let them know, you know, what, you know, where I'm headed and what's going on. But
yeah,
you know, at first it was working, but then the storyline I had pitched to Chris and DJ got axed, so I ended up just giving up on it and going back to being regular Aston Crude. But the feud was awesome. Some really great matches.
Yeah, the feud was definitely amazing. It's one of the biggest highlights for me in ICWS.
Sweet, bro. You went on to work with the Radical Movement a bit more. So it's kind of, you know, you guys aren't really heels. It's more shades of grey.
Yeah.
You're not really a babyface or heels because you're fighting me, who's a babyface, but also you're also going after the heels. What did you think of the Radical Movement? And at Young Wolves Rising, how did it feel to become ICWS Tag Team Champions with ICE?
At this moment, we defined our SPWS defined itself a bit more as a tag team. We're like the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah. I always likened you guys to the Nasty Boys.
Yeah.
Always the Nasty Boys. I always thought if you two had two long trench coats with SPWS painted on the back, if you guys were like a pro wrestling tag team, just the Nasty Boys all the way, you know.
No, that's
a bit more metal influence, I suppose.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it'd be definitely like a more punkish.
Yeah.
90s punkish or 2000 punkish Nasty Boys. But yeah, we solidified ourselves as a destructive machine together. And then it came to the Radical Movement, which I thought was amazing. It was cool to have this like anti-establishment for the first part become like the establishment, the authority. The guys that they would. You know, some of the best wrestlers in ICWS. They're the biggest stars. It wasn't just a jumble of guys. These guys knew each other. Like they clicked as well. And then to actually win the tag titles themselves was just another. We're sharing titles.
Yeah.
You know, but we've got one for each of us.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And I was holding the hardcore title still, so and one of my favourite looks was having one title.
Yeah, one
this
title
side tucked in my pants and the other title. Definitely a great match as well. We loved it. It's always hard to do tag matches in ICWS, strictly because you don't really have a corner.
Yeah.
You know, anyone can just come in and just sock you one.
Yeah.
In reality, but yeah, it was an amazing match. It was.
It's kind of hard to reach for that tag when you can reach them from anywhere you're standing.
That's basically it. You know, you don't have a rope to hold.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a limit to where you can go.
Yeah.
In the corner. But yeah, it was. I definitely thought it was a worthy match, and definitely put us even higher as the dominant machine.
Cool. Whose idea was it to bring Dan Zeppelin into SPWS after everything that went on in the past between you and him as characters? Whose idea was it, and were you happy with the outcome?
Definitely happy with the outcome. I think it's just always been. Nothing ever had to be said between me and Ice. It was always.
He was already an honorary member.
Yeah,
of the,
you know,
the
and
team.
when SPWS first started and we did our promos for the first time, Dan Zeppelin was the one that had an image of how it should be. You know, one of the promos was he's like, there's a mirror in your shed, I'm not going to have the camera on you at first. I'm going to have the camera on the mirror. And, you know, it's going to slowly go up to you and you're going to smash yourself in the head with a chair and grunt and fucking, you know, snort. And then we'll pan to you. And I was like, you know, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and instantly...
He had a vision.
Yeah, and instantly it was like, you know, he's definitely got to be an SPWS. If we have one more member, he's on top of the list. He's yeah, and it was definitely him
pushing for it.
Yeah.
I do remember there was a rumour going around at the time that once the Radical Movement had disbanded, Chris Zeppelin was actually going to join as a manager.
Yeah, we definitely did want the brothers.
Yeah.
Because it would have been awesome to turn the heart and soul of ICWS and blacken them.
Yeah.
And bring them over and be like,
yeah.
You know, come down to the underworld with us, you know.
Well, unfortunately, around this time, things are winding down for ICWS, so we didn't really get to have that. What did you think of Haley Hell being in SPWS? Ice was not too fond.
To be honest, I thought, yeah, we do need like kind of a chick, maybe opposite gender, kind of mix things up. Haley Hell definitely wasn't suited for it. Of course, she was dating Dan Zeppelin at the time, and that was cool. But yeah, just her whole look. She's innocent. She's petite, tiny, and yeah, just you know, that's why I didn't involve too heavily her with our storylines. I kind of made her Dan Zeppelin's problem, unfortunately, you know. But it was still cool, and I'm glad that, yeah, Ice and Dan Zeppelin were able to work with her as much as they could, because I did go through this heel phase of, well, SPWS is mine still.
Yeah.
I'm the alpha of this pack, so like, yeah, I kind of went through that, and yeah, you know, you guys deal with her, you guys deal with your own stuff. I'm kind of rising up the ladder.
I think, you know, if you look back and if things were different, you know, the timeline was different, Rihanna would actually fit.
Exactly.
Totally fit.
You know, when it ended up that Dan Zeppelin and Rihanna actually ended up dating, I was like, this is wrong timing.
Yeah.
No, let's go back, because Rihanna is a gorgeous girl as well, but she definitely doesn't have an innocent look about her.
No, she's badass, man.
Yeah, you know,
she's cool.
She does.
Okay, did you like the fact that you and Ice lost the tag titles to Alex Stone from a cash-in of his Rising Star Cup briefcase?
I did. I loved it because I already got... you beat me. You beat me for the hardcore title, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. So I was already left defeated. And then having Alex come out, the guy that I've looked up to and wanted to wrestle, I've lost to him. I've done an awesome match. It was great. Go to Alex Stone coming out, one of my best mates. Debuted against me, like, you know, kind of got him into ICWS, and bang, like, you know, he's taken the title off me now. It's almost another, like, rite of passage and passing of the torch. And also it caused a lot of, it would have caused a lot of confliction with SPWS, and losing the titles both on one day definitely was...
Yeah. I loved it when he came out. Everyone thought he was going to cash in on me because I'd just gone through this brutal hardcore title match, but he just ended up going for you and your tag titles.
Yeah.
So it was, that was a pretty cool little story. In your yard 2013, you defeat Mykonos out of the blue to become ICWS Heavyweight Champion. I believe it was because Mitch said he wasn't having fun anymore and he wanted to leave ICWS. How did it make you feel all of a sudden? You know, you were a hardcore champion, you were a tag team champion, but in the next couple of months now you're the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, it was definitely an amazing experience to, like, because no one really knew. Everyone, I think most people just thought it was just going to be Kaos, Kaos and Mykonos having a match. Mykonos will overcome, defeat the monster, another David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
When it came down to, I think, for me, it wasn't so much winning the title, but seeing the reaction on people's faces when I did win it, when it's like, oh, hell. Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, this can't be the guy. No, like, all hell's breaking loose. Alex's face was the one that I looked at, and his jaw just dropped. He was just like, what? Like, and I was just like, that's what I want. And yeah, actually finally getting the title did feel kind of good, but not as much as the emotion that everyone went through when I did.
Yeah.
And I was also a lot more fitter.
By that point you'd had slimmed down considerably.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
Vegetable soup, drinking strictly water, and working out a lot. Not intensely, not like The Rock or like the bike. So I don't really ride around with a bicycle unless I have to go somewhere or I'm riding with mates.
Yeah.
And I haven't ridden a bicycle in fuck knows how long because I'm 23. Like,
yeah,
I don't have nothing against it, but
yeah,
you don't do that. But definitely the gym bikes was something that you can sit there. It's not too straining on your body, and you just keep above 100 RPM.
You can watch telly while you do it. And
and I was doing it at the gym, and I was just watching just yoga pants everywhere,
Oh, dude, forget about it. That's
you're losing 10 kilos, but also gaining like 4 kilos in chub.
100%, man. I remember when I used to go to the gym
and I was also working out with my mate who's a bodybuilder, Jacob. So basically I had him supporting me. I was almost like on a Triple H regimen where I had my own guy beefing me up and also slimming me down. And then, wrestling. It's just
brilliant.
And always having sex. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I actually went through a breakup at that moment, so I was having a lot of sex and I was in an angry way. But I was kind of like, everything's going for me. So it was good to win the title for that reason as well. That feels screw up.
So what sucks after this is that's actually the last event for a year. You win the belt and you don't defend it till you work with Three Dog again at Twisted Metal 7. Actually, no. I think that was mid 2013. So what was it like working with Aaron in ICWS?
I think it was the first time me and Aaron actually met in the ring.
You'd had a triple threat with Mykonos as well once before.
Yeah, but that was more focused on their feud. I was just there to fill in because I don't think I had a match.
Yeah.
But Three Dog, bigger than me. I love versing people that are bigger than me. And it also showed that I can take on my first challenge, which is a bigger guy. Does the spear as well. There's got to be a bit of animosity there because he's now the monster. I'm the champion, but I'm a smaller monster. There's a bigger dog in the yard right now.
Yeah.
I actually love wrestling.
It's a Three Dog.
Yeah, and I love wrestling Aaron. It's definitely it is euphoria to being able to get thrown around, especially when you're like 90 kilos at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And anyone can do it now.
We talked about this last night, very late last night, January 2014 at Aussie Anarchy. What did you think of that four-way with Antilochus, Delcano and Three Dog?
Possibly, definitely in my top two favourite matches in ICWS. That match clicked. Everything was so well. You had different elements. You had the powerhouse, the hardcore guy. You had Antilochus, who's also he has hardcore, and he's well rounded. Mike Delcano, who's also well rounded, but more of a
high flyer.
Yeah, and a show pony where he's high flying, he's doing his spots, and you got Antilochus doing his high risk spots as well. Me and Aaron are basically the two powerhouses, but Aaron's the bigger one. He's fucking power bombing everyone, and Mike Delcano is jumping on people. At one point, at the start of the match, you can see him jumping on the grouper bus.
Yeah.
His knee has to go deep into my fucking groin. It has to, and it has to be Delcano, like the one guy that was like, you'll never get the ICWS title. It was always like, I'm the champion. When he had the title.
Oh, he loved being the champion.
Yeah, when I won it I've won it already. Like, you guys are still mid-carders, like, you know. And he loved puffing up his chest. And we always have this thing where it's like, you know, well, fucking SPWS never beat me. It wasn't until that match where I was like, I finally beat you, man.
Yeah.
You're actually the guy that I pinned, and like, I didn't want to pin anyone else. I wanted to pin you, to be like, I got my title, motherfucker.
Brilliant.
You know, so and yeah, the match was amazing. Also, it was the debut of my new finisher, the Chaos Theory .2, whatever I really call it. I kind of just call it the Chaos Theory now because that's the way I like to get him into a suplex pose and then bring him down with a slam. So, and Mike sold it like a fucking magician. It was amazing.
I reckon that was the best one that you hit.
Yeah.
Did it bother you that where are we? Yeah, the hiatus bother you considering you finally got to the top of the Fed and then it died?
When I first won the title and I won the title that match, and then we had the huge hiatus. It didn't bother me so much as storyline wise it could work. I finally won the title. It's the end. It's the end of an era. Like, you know, it was almost like the breaking of the streak. It's just we were being clawing and digging. Like, no one wants us to win the title. We know what's going to happen. We know hell's going to break loose. It's not going to be the same. And when it happened, a hiatus happened. I was like, well, this sucks. I'm just holding on to a title, and I've got nothing to prove that I am a worthy champion. But at the same time, it's like, well, who really cares? Like, when it happened, when it came back, that was good enough for me. And then, of course, we had the other hiatus because of what happened. That's when it really bothered me, just because we had nowhere. I've already proved I'm a worthy champion. I want to keep proving that.
Yeah.
First hiatus wasn't really a problem, but definitely the second got on my nerves.
Gotcha. When ICWS came back in 2015, what were your hopes for the Federation and your title reign?
I was hoping that, I wouldn't be losing the title within like a few months. You should go with the flow, but if DJ told me I was, I would have just told him to go fuck himself. I'll shoot if I have to for a few more months. No, I don't care. But no, we talked it out. Definitely, you know, you're gonna have the title reign you're supposed to have. Definitely different atmosphere. And it was for me, it was difficult to keep on continuing what Chaos was back then. For me, it was a bit like I forgot how to be Chaos from ICWS.
Yeah.
I was Chaos in WZWA.
Yeah.
I was a face.
Yeah.
So it was definitely rusty. I was just hoping that there would be more matches. Hopefully, more variety of opponents as well. And of course, I was like, if I get a versus Aston Crude again, fuck yeah, boy, put me top of the list. Like, you know, if you say you can pick anyone and do a lineup, it's always Aston Crude. You know?
So what were your hopes for ICWS when it came back in 2015?
I was just hoping it would still click the same way. I was just hoping people weren't going to leave, and I just didn't want any problems. I wanted it. ICWS at the Z Arena, everybody loved going there. No one had a problem. Everything was sorted.
You can't really compare the atmosphere at the Z Arena to many other places. I think XCW at Longroy Gardens in Mount Lawley, that had a really good atmosphere. WZWA Arena obviously has a great atmosphere, but it's hard to kind of, I can't think of the word, but, you know, recreate that atmosphere in a different location.
And that's it, but it's always going to be better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know, we had something, and that for me was better than nothing. It was still epic to have friends and still meet up once a month or twice a month, you know, for the WZWA as well, and still be able to put on good matches and have fun and laugh. And, you know, one thing about the front yard is we did use it to our advantage for spots. For you know, definitely Deacon and Ryan. Ryan's match was you know, had an awesome spot because there's no ropes, and you know, you're just going to Irish whip someone into the park. That's the reality, right?
All right. Did it bother you that SPWS was disbanded with no explanation?
Yes, because it had already disbanded without being without a conversation about it. You know, DJ was just like, I don't want you guys together anymore. You're better without Ice. Ice is better without you. You know, that's the way it's going to go. Dan Zeppelin's doing his own thing now, and I was just kind of like, well, there's no explanation, but there kind of is, because I won the title. Why would I need these guys? Like I've almost practically done it on my own in my own head. So yeah,
I do kind of feel like
explained.
Yeah, I do feel like the way that it disbanded out of the blue with no explanation. I think it might have been a catalyst for Dan Zeppelin to lose his interest in doing anything with
very much
the new ICWS. I think he was invested in that group, you know.
That's it.
And you know, he came back for Thug Life, but then after that he lost his interest.
And you could have done so much with that thing, you know, me turning my back on SPWS, or them having to turn their back on me because I'm such a dickhead, like, you know. So
but you know, shit happens, you know, and that's alright. How do you feel the feud with myself has been since Thug Life?
I think it's been one of the best feuds that I've ever had, apart from Ice or Rex Regan. It's just one of those raw feuds where there's so much we can do with it. We're so involved in it. I love being involved in a feud. To get down deep and personal, the way you've sold me out to be this killer of careers, you know.
Yeah.
Which I didn't have that vision until you came out with it. And it all just clicked, and it's literally me also versing one of these guys I aspire to like be like, and to have a career like, which is very rich in history. And fucking hell, man, I love the feud, man, and I love the feud before it, like the little one. This one's longer, it's bigger, it's more us involved, it's raw, it's fucking aggressive.
And I know I did give DJ a bit of a hard time last night for seemingly forgetting the fact that I'm trying to put you over as this career killer.
Yeah.
Because I think it is an important story, and he seems to think because they're not in the Federation anymore that story doesn't matter, but I think it matters tenfold, because that's the whole reason why I'm going after you, because my fallen comrades, they're not here to defend themselves. I've got to do this in their honour, and I've got to fight for them to, you know, be the one guy in the whole Federation that can take that belt from you and get through this whole situation with you without my career being killed, you know.
Well, actually, to go a bit geeky, I don't think if you've ever read Old Man Logan, basically it's the heroes have been, the supervillains have prevailed. They've killed almost all the heroes. Wolverine can't die, of course, but he hasn't popped his claws in 50 years.
Yeah.
You reminded me of Old Man. You reminded me of Wolverine. You know, you're a bit more older, but you know you've still got all these guys have been laid out by the villains. Like, and the main villain, of course, being me. And that's how I always saw it. I saw you like making your uprising, the revenge, the vengeance. You know, you're avenging all your guys.
Yeah.
All these guys that you've grown to respect and admire, and I don't think it could have gone any better if I planned it, or if I knew what was going on either. Just not knowing.
Yeah.
Was even the best bit.
Yeah. All right. Couple more on ICWS before we'll take a break. What does ICWS need to do to have the same vibe, excitement, and atmosphere it once had?
Needs to be a bit more sorted. Definitely a bit more organised. Unfortunately, DJ's found that he's got to put everything on himself, otherwise he thinks it will collapse. At this moment, I'm actually still trying to get him to give me half his roster and sort shit out as well. It needs to have a bit less of a hostile environment as well.
It feels very restrictive.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's more that can be done with everyone. And I know he's stressed out, and I know it's difficult.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a while now. I know how annoying it can be, dealing with all the different personalities and trying to get them to the venue on the day that you've set. I know how difficult that is, and if people don't show up, that kind of messes up with your plans a lot.
And I think this year of ICWS as well is we have to set up as well.
It's make or break.
Like Rob set it up for us in ICWS. WZWA, the ring's already there for us. With ICWS, you've got to go there. You've got it in your head, like, I've got to be there early. I've got to help. There's probably going to be stuff wrong with the ring because it's not that sorted. Yeah. Nothing's too well organised. It definitely needs. It needs to be revamped and replenished. With just refreshed. Like, let's just sort the base, sort the storylines, and then get back to it. Instead of trying to still jumble everything and juggle it. To try and make it perfect. If we just take a break, focus on what's needed to be done, and then start again. Just pause and rearrange.
Yeah. What does ICWS mean to your career?
ICWS is it unfortunately with SPWS it's where we started out. It's what we started together, but ICWS is where we grew. It was definitely the foundation of what Kaos and Ice is, in my opinion. That's how we built ourselves as monsters. We built ourselves as great wrestlers. Built ourselves as like the hardcore guys. Practically a two-man hardcore division until the boys came in. ICWS is like the pot in which you make the fucking dish that is Kaos for me. Definitely it even gives a bit of a legacy going into WZWA as well, where I've got a history. I'm not just jumping to WZWA as a fresh wrestler. Yeah. There's definitely the experience and the knowledge.
Do you have any regrets over your time in ICWS? Was there anything that you wished you could have done, or something that you could have done differently?
Definitely. One thing was my look. As much as I looked like dark, I looked a bit shit. Even then, I'd look back in the match and be like, I'm not too happy with how I look. Definitely weight wise, and maybe focusing more on wrestling moves. Definitely wanted to refine my character a lot more. Storyline wise, I don't really have a problem.
I think it's been pretty solid.
Yeah, I definitely got what I feel I deserve at the end, and I think the weight was definitely worth it. Instead of being like, here's the big guys, let's give them the titles, let's see how they do. It was better for me to be like, work my way up, scratching and clawing, and definitely being a heel. It definitely helped me be a heel.
Yeah.
I always thought we were going to be face, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just kind of we had like that Nasty Boys metal gimmick in our head as well. Yeah. So, it was definitely. It was just okay, man. I don't really know the words for it. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was expected.
Yeah. And I think, all of yours and Ice's hard work through those years in ICWS, there was a lot of validation at the end of it when you see SPWS standing there at Aussie Anarchy 2014, I believe, with you holding the ICWS title and Dark Ice walks out with the WCWA title.
Yeah.
It's like you guys at one stage had the two top spots in WA yarding. And can you say that for anyone else? Two guys that were best friends that in different federations were the guys? Like, that's insane. Yeah. Like, that, you can't write that. It just happened to happen when it did, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to say there, just to wrap things up for this section of the podcast. This is part 1 with Killawatt Kaos. So thank you, Kaos, for part 1.
Thank you, mate.
And that was the career of Killawatt Kaos and the ICWS up to this point. Surely there's going to be more to come with that. But stay tuned, wrestling fans. We will be with you very shortly for part 2, where we get in deep on the WZWA career of Killawatt Kaos. So thank you again, Kaos.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next time on the GBYWN Australia podcast. I'm Aston Crude. Thank you very much.